soaking through and through. And then you handed me a towel, and all I see is you. And even if my house falls down now, I wouldn't have a clue, because you're near me. And I want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life. And just to be with you is having the best day of my life.
This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network Limited. We broadcast from our studios at 14 Ocean Boulevard in the Digicel Center, downtown Kingston, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band, 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Cooper's Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, RevoNews.ai and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tawna Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Tuesday, March 10, 2026. Government to recruit medical professionals from Nigeria and Ghana following cancellation of a Cuban program. Tourism Ministry says all hotels to be fully reopened by December 2026. ECJ nudges municipal corporations in KSA, St. Thomas, and Westmoreland to conduct by-elections for vacant councillor posts. In regional news, Cuban doctors to leave Guyana as U.S. applies pressure over islands and medical missions. In international news, Iran launches new attacks targeting Israel and Gulf countries as war enters day 11. In sports, Shanoya Douglas could be withdrawn from the World Indoors team. And in business, energy prices fall and stocks rise amid Trump's statement the war in Iran would end soon. The details after the break.
This station raised me. It gave me a voice. And if Nationwide has ever meant something to you, come on in. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The Holness administration is pursuing a strategy of aggressive global recruitment as it looks to plug the gap caused by the discontinuation of the Cuban medical program in Jamaica. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton briefed the country on the various strategies being pursued at a press conference on Monday. Siobhan Campbell has that story.
The government says it's pursuing a number of strategies aimed at addressing the shortages in the health sector said to be caused by the loss of professionals employed under the Cuban medical program. The Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says recruits are being targeted from Nigeria and Ghana.
The ministry is also in an advanced position on our negotiations to conclude MOU agreements with Ghana and Nigeria. Ghana is one of those countries that has an excess of nurses. It's a similar training protocol, and we have signed off on the MOU. The MOU is now with them, but we are encouraged by the feedback, and we believe that we could quickly turn that around over the medium term meaning within 3 to 6 months, to see those specialists where we have gaps filling that. And the same for Nigeria.
Approximately 260 Cuban health professionals currently work on the island. The Cuban government has issued directives for all of them to make themselves ready to return home. The government previously announced that direct contracts are being offered to those willing to stay. However, it's uncertain what will be the take-up among the Cuban staff. The government says it will be more aggressive in its global recruitment of medical professionals as a long-term solution.
We have gotten cabinet approval to move to another level of our strategy around international recruitment, and that decision is supported or bolstered by cabinet's agreement for us to establish an international recruitment unit within the corporate services division of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and that unit will serve as a central coordinating hub to all international recruitments, including recruitment under bilateral cooperation and within the diaspora. The unit will focus primarily on where there are gaps, shortages. It's not an attempt at replacing persons who are in the system or who are being trained for the system, but where the critical gaps are.
Meanwhile, in the short term, the health minister says staff will be redeployed to cover for the absences of Cuban nurses and doctors.
In the short term, the ministry will be working with the regional health authorities to activate what we call a contingency measure to maintain critical services. So that's our short-term surge plan, which includes revision of duty rosters, increased use of overtime and extended work hours. This happens routinely when we have a surge in cases. So if you have a spike in the flu season or in the dengue season, you have more demand on the system, then we implement a surge plan. So it's not a new thing. And given the possibility of fallout from Cubans who are working, Cuban healthcare workers in particular areas, we will trigger that plan, which we have a lot of experience in doing. And the regions have been asked so to do.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Dr. Tufton says alternative arrangements are being put in place to allow for the continuation of the eye care program at St. Joseph's Hospital in St. Andrew. The program is run by Cuban healthcare professionals. Dr. Tufton says those who have surgery dates already scheduled will not be impacted.
The Jamaica Cuba Eye Care program will continue. That's the intention. Its operations will continue by the Cuban team up to the 20th of March. There's an agreement on that. And for the remainder of the program's operations, services will be limited to surgery and post-operative care. Now, what this means is that for surgical procedures for patients who are already scheduled and follow-up care for patients who have already undergone eye surgery and retina-related post-operative treatment and monitoring. So those who have those appointments, not to worry, that will take place. In addition to that, the post-surgery care will continue under the program using the same staff, Cuban healthcare workers, up until that time.
The Jamaica Cuba Eye Care program was created to boost optical care services. Thousands of Jamaicans rely on the program for various eye-related issues such as cataract and complications from diabetes. Dr. Tufton says the government is already exploring other options to limit the potential disruption of the program.
We are working, and I've started that, on alternative arrangements to ensure the continuity of the screening program through a combination of our internal capacity as well as through some outsourcing arrangements. And we have got the cabinet's agreement on that. Agreement in the sense that it has a budgetary implication, meaning engaging the private sector. The intention is not to discontinue the program. The intention is to work with the existing team up to the point when they may discontinue or continue, depending on where the discussions lead, and beyond that, to find alternative ways to continue the work, because this is a very critical.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says all hotels across Jamaica are expected to be fully reopened by December 2026, following the disruption caused by Hurricane Melissa in October last year. Bartlett made the disclosure during last Friday's meeting of the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament, where members were reviewing the government's 2026-27 estimates of expenditure.
The energy and the ambitions have grown, and the reality now is that we will have all our 33,000 rooms available and active by December of 2026, so that fiscal 26-27 will recover the process. The result of that is a review also of the outturn in terms of visitor arrivals.
Hurricane Melissa battered western Jamaica in October, forcing the temporary closure of several tourism properties and disrupting operations across the industry. But the minister says the industry's recovery has been progressing steadily. In February, he noted that more than 500,000 visitors had already arrived in Jamaica since the passage of the storm. Bartlett told the committee that improvements in the industry have led to improved economic projections.
In fiscal year 26-27, the gross tourism earnings is projected now at $3.228 billion and would reflect now only a 3% decline from the year 25-26, which was $3.327 billion. For fiscal 26-27, then the total visitor arrival is expected to fall to 1%. And so that figure now will be 3.741 million, and that will be composed of 2.278 stopover arrivals and 1.463 crews.
Edmund Bartlett, Tourism Minister. Jamaica is set to receive a major boost in airlift from Europe this summer, with more than 160,000 airline seats anticipated from the United Kingdom and continental Europe combined. In a statement on Monday, the Jamaica Tourist Board, JTB, says that this reflects growing confidence among international carriers in the island's tourism product. Khaleesi Wright tells us more.
According to the JTB, 137,000 seats will be available from the United Kingdom for the summer 2026 travel period. That's 11,000 more than in the summer of 2025. Flights will be operated by 3 major carriers: British Airways, TUI Airways, and Virgin Atlantic. British Airways will operate 4 weekly flights from London Gatwick Airport to Kingston, and 4 weekly flights from London Heathrow Airport to Montego Bay. TUI Airways will operate 3 weekly flights from London Gatwick to Montego Bay, in addition to 2 weekly services each from Manchester and Birmingham. Among the UK carriers, TUI will provide the largest share of seats with 63,000. British Airways will account for 41,000 seats, while Virgin Atlantic will offer 32,000. From continental Europe, 5 airlines will operate 105 direct flights into Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay between May and October 2026, providing 34,000 seats. That represents a 46% increase compared with seats available during summer 2025. Flights will originate from 4 European gateways: Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Milan Malpensa Airport, and Lisbon. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the level of airlift signals Jamaica's strong standing as a long-haul tourism destination. He says the expansion reflects years of work to strengthen relationships with airline partners, improve airport infrastructure, and promote Jamaica internationally. Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ, says it has written to 3 mayors to conduct by-elections and fill several vacant councillor posts in their parish. In a release on Monday, the ECJ says it wrote to the mayors of Kingston, Morant Bay, and Savlamar. The ECJ says it's reminding them of their responsibility to fill the vacancies for councillors within the stipulated time period. The Commission signaled its readiness to conduct the by-elections to fill the vacancies once the mayors so indicate. It says under the law, a by-election is to be held within approximately 3 months of the vacancy in an electoral division being recorded. The ECJ says it's awaiting the decision of the local authorities. A Canadian woman who is wanted for murder in Toronto was extradited from Jamaica last Friday. She is a 43-year-old Debbie Sue Jones. Jones is wanted by the Toronto police for second-degree murder. Reports are that on September 30, 2024, Jones, along with another assailant, shot and killed a 42-year-old man in Toronto. She then fled to Jamaica to evade prosecution. Jones was apprehended by the Jamaica Fugitive Apprehension Team of the Specialized Investigation Branch on Monday, January 19. She subsequently waived her rights to an extradition hearing. She was officially handed over to law enforcement officials from Canada at Norman Manor International Airport on Friday, March 6. The National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, is working to clear a backlog of over 200 truckloads of garbage across the island. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie provided the update at last Friday's sitting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee.
The total backlog of garbage collection right across the country is about 218 loads. Because of Melissa, they had to respond island-wide to debris management cleanup. Christmas season is always the season that more garbage is generated in the country more than anything else. And we saw that last Christmas. It is the intention of the organization to work assiduously to reduce the backlog.
The minister's comment follows complaints from some opposition MPs about a pileup of garbage in some constituencies. The opposition MPs say the excuse about Hurricane Melissa is wearing thin as they demand immediate attention from the authorities. They also claim that the backlog is due to the actions of disgruntled garbage contractors who are upset at delayed payments to them. Minister McKenzie rejected the argument.
Despite the challenges of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the organization is at the top of its game as I speak in terms of its credibility and its performance. The National Solid Waste Management Authority have seen an increase in the allocation. So it is not that we are not providing the resources for public cleansing. And let me say this. There are no outstanding bills owed by the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
Desmond McKenzie, Local Government Minister. Minister of Water Matthew Samuda says work on the Greater Mandeville water supply system is due to be completed between 2027 and 2028. Minister Samuda was responding to questions posed by Central Manchester MP Rhoda Moy Crawford during last week's meeting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee.
So the Greater Mandeville water scheme is 70% complete. It has somewhere between 18 months to 30 months for total completion. There have been planning changes along the way, as you'd recall from when the project was first contemplated. The project is almost twice the size of what was contemplated. Then we have been partnering with the NHT to ensure that their new developments in that area are indeed included.
The $4.5 billion Greater Mandeville Water Supply Improvement Project promises to end years of water woes for thousands of residents of Manchester and sections of neighboring St. Elizabeth. It includes the construction of 3 new wells to complement the old Pepper location in St. Elizabeth, the installation of new transmission mains, 7 new pumping units, and a 200,000-gallon tank. The new system promises to produce 3 million gallons of water daily. Minister Samuda says significant progress has been made with the project, specifically in gutters on the border of St. Elizabeth and Manchester.
As a major milestone, just for those listening or watching later, you'd note that we'd have completed the major pumping station at Gutters, and the transmission main from Pepper to Gutters is nearing completion. And I know we've created quite a bit of traffic disruption as we've been laying other pipes through different sections of Mandeville. So the project progresses, member, but I suspect we will have one last budget head next year to discuss before that comes to practical completion.
Matthew Samuda, Minister of Water. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:18.
So some of you have been listening longer than I've been talking on radio, so this is our way of keeping it strong together. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club on Patreon and stay with us.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news, Cuba is preparing to withdraw its medical brigade from Guyana after the Irfan Ali administration moved to pay doctors and nurses directly instead of sending most of the payments to the Cuban government. Guyana's Health Minister Frank Anthony made the announcement on Monday. He told the media that Cuban authorities ordered the brigade of more than 200 doctors to prepare to leave the South American nation. According to Anthony, Guyana has been engaging the Cuban authorities on the payment regime of the program, which the United States has described as forced labor. The minister says despite the fallout, Guyana is prepared to hire Cuban doctors who remain in the country through individual contracts. The move comes amid similar action in Jamaica. International, Iran launched new attacks in Israel or at Israel and Gulf Arab countries on Tuesday as it kept up pressure on the Middle East. Sirens warned of incoming missiles in the futuristic business hub of Dubai, and in Bahrain, authorities said an Iranian attack hit a residential building in the capital, killing a 29-year-old woman and wounding 8 others. Saudi Arabia said it destroyed 2 drones over its oil-rich eastern region, and Kuwait's National Guard said it shot down 6 drones. Sirens also sounded in Jerusalem, and sounds of explosions could be heard in Tel Aviv as Israel's defense systems work to intercept incoming fire. Writing on X, Iran's parliament speaker said the country is definitely not looking for a ceasefire. He added, quote, "We believe that the aggressor should be punched in the mouth so that he learns a lesson so that he will never think of attacking our beloved Iran again," end quote. The United States and Israel started the war on Iran 2 Saturdays ago. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
You could win a return on your taxes. Pay your taxes with your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card at Tax Administration Jamaica or online for your chance to be one of 2 lucky winners of $500,000 cashback. Earn an entry for every $100,000 spent on taxes between February 27 and April 15. Plus, enjoy a 1-month payment holiday up to 55 days interest-free and unlimited reward points. Visit Sagicor.com to learn more. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90FM, a new revolution in media.
Time now for your morning sports. There is uncertainty surrounding the participation of Shania Douglas at the World Indoor Championships. Douglas, who sped to an impressive 11.06 seconds to win the under-20 girls 100 meter at the Carifta Trials on Friday at the National Stadium, has been named as part of the 4x400 meter relay for the World Indoors. However, her coach, Garth Smythe, says Douglas is unlikely to make the trip. Smythe told Nationwide Sports on Monday that they did give the J3As permission to select the youngster. However, he says that they did so not considering that the team would only be back from the championships on the day that the Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Champs would get underway. Smythe says he wants now to withdraw the athlete from the World Indoors team.
World Indoors wasn't in our plans any at all. But we are happy for the consideration that they consider her. And so it's kind of close with her traveling, returning, and then champs. No, well, initially I gave them the thumbs up, not recognizing the dates. I'm quite sure there's somebody there that they could make the substitution with.
Garth Smythe. Former champions Waterhouse continued their surge up the Ray Nephi Jamaica Premier League standings after beating leaders Mobay United 1-0 at Druseland on Monday. The Guyanese international Nero Barros scored the lone goal on 38 minutes. Waterhouse are now on 43 points, the same as fourth place Portmore United, but they remain fifth on goal difference. Mobay's lead was cut to 3 points a few hours earlier by second place Racing United, who blanked Harborview. All-rounder Jason Holder was the only West Indies player named in the ICC team of the tournament for the 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup. Holder featured in all 7 West Indies matches during the tournament, scoring 141 runs and claiming 10 wickets to underline his value as one of the competition's most effective all-rounders. Against Nepal at the Wankhede Stadium, Holder ran through the opposition with figures of 4 for 27, removing 3 of the top 5 batters. His spell set the platform for a dominant 9-wicket victory for the Caribbean side. Holder's performances earned him recognition alongside several of the tournament's top performers. India led the selections with 4 players. South Africa had 2, as did England, with Pakistan and Zimbabwe, like the West Indies, having 1 each. Meanwhile, ESPN has named Shimron Hetmeyer in its tournament Best 11. Now, the third and final preliminary round of the 26th staging of the KPMG Squash League is set to begin Tuesday at the Ligonier Club in Kingston, with teams battling for spots in the knockout stage. At the end of the preliminary round on Thursday, the top 2 teams from each group will advance to the quarterfinals, where the competition will shift to a knockout format. Among the teams looking strong heading into the decisive stage is Saints, last year's runner-up, which have been steadily building momentum in this year's tournament. With only 1 preliminary match remaining, captain of Saints, Mario O'Connor, is optimistic about their chances of finally capturing the league title after finishing runners-up twice in a row.
We're just looking forward now to playing champion, which I think is another big handicap match. But, we welcome them, help sharpen our skills and our focus.
Mario O'Connor. Finally, in your morning sports, members of the Equestrian Federation of Jamaica, EFJ, will gather on April 1 for an extraordinary general meeting to vote on a series of amendments to the Federation's constitution as part of a major reform process aimed at modernizing its government or governance and aligning the organization with international sports standards. The AFJ's current constitution has been in place since 1995, and officials say the proposed changes represent a significant step towards strengthening the Federation's administrative structure and improving transparency and accountability. The AFJ president is Heidi Layla.
Right now we have the amendments that came forward, maybe about 12 topics, and that were up for discussion, and then there was some voting, and now the document is ready to be sent out. So we now have to pass it at another EGM, which is just expected to take about 10 minutes. So that's about to go out to the membership now. I just attended the Pan American Confederation. They also did amendments to their constitution, which they do standard pretty much every 4 to 5 years. So we were long overdue, and I'm happy to be involved in getting this done. It was really, really important to me.
Heidi Layla wrapping up your morning sports.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
In business this morning, oil prices fell sharply on Tuesday after U.S. President Donald Trump said that the war in Iran would come to an end very soon. Crude had reached almost $120 a barrel on Monday over fears that the conflict would cause lengthy disruption to energy supplies from the Middle East, but dropped back to around $90 following Trump's comments. Although oil prices are still significantly higher than they were before the war, European stock markets rebounded with London's FTSE 100 index rising 1.9%. Gas prices also receded. Trump said he thought the war was very complete pretty much, although he later warned Iran to not block the Strait of Hormuz, a shipping route crucial to global energy supplies. He wrote on social media that if Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said in response to Trump's nonsense that Iran's armed forces will not allow the export of a single liter of oil from the region. Now, China's exports surged in the first 2 months of this year, despite trade tensions with the U.S. Official figures show exports jumped by more than 20% in January and February, which is almost 3 times the rate predicted by economists. It puts the country on track to top the record-breaking annual trade surplus it saw in 2025. The announcement comes as U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to visit China in early April to meet his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. The world's second-largest economy is heavily reliant on exports as it faces a number of issues, including weak consumer spending, a shrinking population, and a property market crisis. Beijing typically combines January and February trade data to adjust for distortions caused by the Lunar New Year holiday, which falls on different dates each year. China's exports were boosted by strong demand for electronics, while shipments of agricultural and manufactured goods also rose. In foreign exchange trading, the Jamaican dollar has lost 8 cents and will open against the benchmark US dollar, selling for an average $157.55. Against the Canadian, the Jamaican has gained 39 cents and will open selling for an average $115.92. And finally, the Jamaican dollar has lost 23 cents and will begin trading for an average $210.98 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
The National Land Agency helps landowners register land through its systematic land registration program. The time by the NLA is
6:33.
If you have an objection to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your...
Don't do it, Tevin! I still love you. I have since the day we stole your mom's car and got matching dolphin tattoos.
Oh, Lordy. Janelle? From spring break, oh wait?
Yes, it's me.
Janelle, you've got to move on.
We're like the wedding guest that doesn't ruin the ceremony. CG United Insurance. Good like that.
Over a month ago, we invited you to be a part of something special, something different. And you know what? Over 500 of you said, all right, we're in. That means over 500 of you decided to move from just being a listener to being a part of the family. The Nationwide Family Club isn't just an idea anymore. It's real, it's growing, and it feels good.
And because family looks out for family, for the entire month of March, we're doing something extra. Every single week, one family club member will win a $25,000 supermarket voucher. That's 4 winners, 4 weeks, 4 real chances. Because when you stick with us, we believe you should feel it. Loyalty shouldn't just be appreciated, it should feel rewarded.
The Nationwide Family Club is where you, our listeners, come closer. Not just hearing the stories, but seeing how they're made. Not just listening to the voices, but connecting with the people behind them. In the Family Club, you get early access to documentaries, exclusive content on air, member-only conversations, birthday shout-outs, breaking news alerts, and depending on your tier, studio experiences and private live streams. That's not just regular radio, that's family access.
This isn't just a subscription, it's connection, it's community, it's saying, I support what you do, and I want to be closer to it. More content, more interactions, more behind the scenes, and no, more chances to win.
And if you've been watching from the sidelines, we've been saving a seat for you. Join today, be a part of the first 1,000 family members, and this March, you could be one of 4 people walking away with a $25,000 supermarket voucher. Go to patreon.com/Nationwide News Network, the Nationwide Family Club, closer than radio, stronger than ever, and growing with you, our family.
Jah carry me through everything. I have no fear for anything. Jah gave me all the strength I need to make it through this world I was born in. Rastafari is my peace of mind. Jah, thank you for your love and kindness, for every drop of air I breathe, and for waking me up this morning. And when I'm traveling in the streets today, please, Jah never leave my side. And every day the same prayer I say, and I beg you please, never left I and I. Oh, never leave I and I. Rastafari, in my eyes I can see all the possible things people could be. Jaja be my guide, cause I can only protect my flesh. But people wear disguises, help me realize. Teach me love unconditionally. Can't go around preying everybody. The closest of friends will deceive you badly. I learned that Rastafari is my family. So when I'm traveling in the streets today, please, Jaja never leave my side. And every day the same prayer I say, and I'm saying it to one more time. When I travel in the streets I pray, I'm begging you please, never leave I and I. Oh, Jaja.
I would never give the power to a bald head. Run, come, crucify the dread. Time alone, oh, time will tell. Think you're in heaven, but you're living here. Think you're in heaven, but you're living here. Think you're in heaven, but you're living in hell. Time alone, oh, time will tell. You think you're in heaven, but you're living here. Oh, not the brothers, but the ones who set them up. Time alone, oh, time will tell. Think you're in heaven, but you're push on through. Whoa, Lord, I got to keep on moving. Lord, I got to get on down. Lord, I've got to keep on moving. Where I can't be found. Lord, they're coming after me. I've been accused.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope I find you well this Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, March 10, 2026. I'm Tawna Thomas.
Good morning, Tawna. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, family members. My name is George.
Hello to you, George.
What up, what up, what up?
I'm here. I see James Torres in the chat saying,
As ever.
Sir George and Lady Tawna. Good morning to
Good
you,
morning, James Torres. Good morning.
What James Torres say? You wanna look awesomely fantastic.
Oh, yeah, I say. Thank you,
on my
Mom.
65-inch TV.
Good morning,
while
Mom.
cooking. What you cooking, James Torres? Do let us know. Yeah, man, what you chefing up this morning. Yeah, but good morning to all our family members. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us this Tuesday morning for NTM. So hello to all our YouTubers, our friends out there in Radio Land. And for those in Mobile, we're still working on it. Don't worry. We're working on it. We're working on it. And hello to our friends out there joining us from the app or from the website. All right. So, George, on my mind this morning, I find myself bothered this morning. And at this point, I just have questions because I'm not a practitioner in the courts. And this bother is a lingering one, but has come back to the surface because of a recent matter in the Manchester Circuit Court. So listen to this story carried by our colleagues over at the Jamaica Observer. Matthew Smith, who police here have described as a serial rapist is to spend just over 15 years in prison for sexual assault of 5 people, including a teenage boy, in 2023. The sentence was handed down on Friday, February 27, in the Manchester Circuit Court. Smith, 28, was sentenced to 15 years and 3 months on each of 2 counts of rape. 15 years and 3 months for possession of a prohibited weapon, 7 years and a month on each of 3 counts of burglary, 7 years and a month on each of 3 counts of robbery with aggravation. And the sentences are to run concurrently. Smith, again, had pleaded guilty in 2025 in relation to the offenses committed against 5 complainants, 4 women, 2 of whom were raped, and the boy. Police said between April and May 2023, Smith burglarized homes in Hopetoun and the Balvenie area of Manchester. In 3 incidents, he sexually assaulted the 5 people. In 1 incident, a mother and her teenage son were sexually assaulted at gunpoint. In a 2nd incident, Smith and another suspect sexually assaulted a mother and daughter at knife point. And in a 3rd incident, another woman was sexually assaulted. During one of the incidents, Smith stole 2 tablet devices. Police tracked one of the devices and arrested him with the tablets in his possession. He was subsequently charged for the offenses and placed before the courts. And I read this on the weekend, and my immediate reaction was, sentences running concurrently again. And recently I read from a judge who said in the past, the common law limits them to ordering consecutive sentences only in specific circumstances, such as when the offenses were committed on separate occasions or while the offender was on bail for other offenses that he eventually was convicted of. That judge also said, secondly, even if the common law or parliament expressly permits or requires the court to impose a consecutive sentence in a particular case, the Constitution, which judges are sworn to uphold, especially Section 13.3.0 and 13.6, mandates that the courts, when doing so, must ensure the punishment is not grossly disproportionate and does not amount to cruel and inhumane punishment or treatment. There's that, plus the fact that this offender, in this particular case, pleaded guilty, so again benefits from a sentence reduction in that regard. But I ask this morning, what kind of message should a concurrent sentence like this send to the victims? Because while the court of public opinion and the court of law is a delicate balance, sometimes, to my mind, George, these concurrent sentences seem to not strike that balance as it relates to the victims. The crime of rape is so egregious that it should be treated firmly by our courts. And more so when an offender went pretty much on a raping spree. What is to stop, I ask this morning, every other serial rapist out there from doing the same thing and just pleading guilty? And your sentences run concurrently, so you spend 15 years after sexually assaulting 5 people. I ask, is there an avenue within sentencing, I'm not a practitioner, that's why I'm asking, that allows a judge in matters like these with more than 1 count to hand down a sentencing where there's perhaps 1 consecutive sentence to be served followed by the others running concurrent? I don't know, I'm just asking. Because I'm bothered this morning by a case like this. I don't know how many others are out there that have had a similar treatment where you have a serial rapist who has come before the courts, sexually assaulted women and the boy at gunpoint, knife point, stolen items from their homes. And it's 15 years. I won't come here and tell you again that I understand all the intricacies of the court system. But as one outsider looking in, I don't sit comfortably with something like this. So I close by saying, George, perhaps there's a need for a review of the sentencing guidelines. Perhaps that's where we need to go. I don't know. But I say again that the court of public opinion, the interest of the victims, must be balanced with the court of law. And that's what's on my mind.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:49.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Azan Super Center, everything for your home and more.
Bring back the fun of shopping. Discover the best finds in every aisle of amazing items. For your kitchen, your living room, your bedroom, or any room, Azan Supercenter has that perfect touch to elevate your space to the next level. Our team is ready to help you find what you are looking for you or someone else. So stop by our Crossroads store today and rediscover the fun of shopping.
Azan Supercenter, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Every day, Rosie has a glass of fruit drink with breakfast, an energy drink on the way to work, a flavored water with lunch, and 2 glasses of soda with dinner, which adds up to more than 50 teaspoons of sugar a day. And all that extra sugar could bring on obesity. Are we drinking ourselves sick? 71% of Jamaicans support a tax on sugary drinks. Help tackle obesity and protect our children's future. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica.
Time now for Street Smarts 1 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Good morning, George. Good morning, Tona.
Hey to you, Ludlow.
And all members, all listeners, viewers, all members of the family club. Everyone tuned in at this time. It's bright, but not yet sunny. And the roadways are busy, but there are gaps along spaces. Seawood Drive, heading on to Olympic Way. It's good vehicular movement all the way down towards the street, 3 miles to get onto Hagley Park Road. And Bay Farm Road, good movement again, heading out to Walton Park Road. Walton Park Road is good movement also if you're heading up towards the intersection of Waltham and Malines, or going towards Newark Avenue, then on to Keysing. Remember, that is a peculiar area. It builds as the morning progresses. Along the boulevard, there are gaps. The greatest concentration is when you get towards the Malines intersection and then further towards Dunrobin, you get down there. And then Constant Spring Road South, there is a lot of traffic, but it's moving. It's more concentrated in the Harbour Square area. And along Upper Waterloo, it's pretty good movement. But remember, Waterloo builds each minute or each second. Hope Road heading into Harbour Tree, concentration into Harbour Tree Square, that's where it is. Likewise, South Oden Avenue and all these areas going down. after Tree Road. It's quite active. But remember, as it peaks, it will be like about 7:15 there, about 7:20, where we'll give you further updates. So for the time being, it's back to you, George, in the studios.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow there with Street Smarts One, and that was a brilliant shot of the sunshine in the background. The foreground of that. No, it was a background. Yeah, it was a background. It was a background of that shot just now at Barbican Square. Was it Barbican Square, King? No, it was Mullines and intersection. Yeah, because I said Barbican, you can't see so because of the mountains. All right, so the word of the day is up next.
So your word of the day is spelt, well, I'm seeing OPULENC. What are you seeing over there, Jermaine? But can I use my word of the day? All right, great. So my word of the day, OPULENCE.
Opulence. I lives in it, I swims in it. There was an advertisement on TV with a Russian guy.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Opulence. Opulence. Opulence.
I lives in it, I swims in it.
Was it an ad?
Yeah.
Okay. Opulence is your word of the day. Great wealth is the definition provided here. Great wealth. Opulence is your word of the day. OPULENCE.
Yeah.
Rooms of spectacular opulence, richness, lavishness, lushness, opulence.
Journalistically, Cliff Hughes is opulent.
Yeah.
But money-wise?
I know you're going there now.
Money-wise? We're not talking about the man business.
Opulence.
You can hear him this morning, George Davis.
Opulence is your word of the day. OPULENCE. There are ways in which you can use this one. Up next, your features at the top of the hour, the news.
We've heard the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, the same can be said about eating eggs every day. In Food for Thought today, the benefits of eating eggs every day. Eggs are one of the few foods that should be classified as superfoods. They are loaded with nutrients, some of which are rare in the modern diet. Whole eggs are among the most nutritious foods on the planet, containing a little bit of almost every nutrient you need, and pastured organic eggs are even healthier. Author and expert in the keto diet, Dr. Eric Berg, says the egg is one of the healthiest proteins. He says there are 15 grams of protein in the yolk and 11 in the egg white.
The egg has every single fat-soluble vitamin, vitamin A, D, E, K, vitamin K1 and vitamin K2, which is an amazing vitamin that helps you extract calcium out of the soft tissues. So these fat-soluble vitamins are essential in brain health, in hormone health, in your eyes. And so most of the fat-soluble vitamins are in the yolk part. But the yolk also contains all of your B vitamins, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, biotin, B12, and even the white part of the egg is loaded with B vitamins as well. The yolk also contains some really rich minerals, a lot of trace minerals, as well as other minerals, like it has magnesium, potassium, it has phosphorus, calcium, it has iodine, it has selenium, zinc, copper. So it's a really good source of minerals. Eggs are a good source of omega-3 fatty acids, which are anti-inflammatory. The egg yolk is a really good source of choline. Choline is the antidote to cholesterol. It helps break down cholesterol. It helps the brain work. It helps all the neurotransmitters. Out of all the foods, liver is the highest in choline. Egg yolk is the second. Now, if I was going to ask you, what has more protein, the egg white or the yolk? You'd probably say the egg white, right? Well, actually, that's not true. The egg yolk has 15% protein and the egg white only has 11% protein, which is actually quite interesting because you have people that think they're getting more protein from the egg whites when they're not.
Dr. Eric Berg, author and expert in the keto diet. Eggs are incredibly filling and tend to make you eat fewer calories, helping you lose weight. That's it for Food for Thought today. Join us next time when we continue looking at the health benefits of eating eggs every day.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
Nothing screams more loudly about a lack of grace and restaurant etiquette than to see a group of women, regardless of age, arguing about how much each one should pay when the bill arrives at the table. Welcome to Lifestyle Pages on how to pay and how to tip. One of the best ways to avoid an awkward situation is to look at the menu and check the prices before deciding what you will order. Everyone should have an idea what they are prepared to spend on a meal and maybe dessert. Make sure of the amount of money in your purse or wallet before placing your order. When the bill arrives, each person should quietly hand their money to the person appointed to pay, the waiter or cashier. When tipping, the general rule is 15% of the check or total in first-class restaurants. If the bill is over USD $20 or the Jamaican equivalent, then 10% of the total bill is sufficient. Head waiters are tipped for special service, and it should never be less than US $1. In the case of a small bill, 20% is normal, or each person pays 25 cents to 50 cents US dollar. I'm Valerie, and those were Lifestyle Pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
From the ground up, let's rebuild stronger, safer, better than before. National Supply, powering Jamaica's comeback. The temperature by National Supply is...
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news this morning, Tuesday, March 10, 2026, government to recruit medical professionals from Nigeria and Ghana following cancellation of Cuban medical program. Tourism Ministry says all hotels affected by Hurricane Melissa are due to reopen by December 2026. ECJ nudges municipal corporations in Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Thomas and Westmoreland to conduct by-elections to fill vacancies. And in international news, Iran launches new attacks targeting Israel and the Gulf countries as war enters day 11.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU, is raising concern about the government's plan to remove the general consumption tax exemption from the motor vehicle duty concession for public sector workers. Finance Minister Favour Williams made the announcement during the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament last Thursday. She had previously announced a reduction in the concession as a revenue measure when she tabled the budget in February. Currently, eligible public sector workers pay a 20% customs duty on the importation cost of their vehicles. In addition, both the special consumption tax and general consumption tax are waived. But as of May 1, 2026, all vehicles imported using the duty concession will attract GCT. The measure is expected to save the government $1.3 billion. Minister Williams argues that with significant increase in government salaries, the reduction in the concession is considered an equitable measure. But in a statement late on Monday, the JCTU said the measure would materially reduce an established benefit that forms part of the structured compensation for public sector workers. It says the motor vehicle duty concession is a long-standing component of the public service compensation framework and cannot be altered unilaterally. It says while it recognizes the government's responsibility to strengthen revenue performance, it's particularly concerned the proposal was advanced without prior consultation with the trade unions representing the affected employees. It says the proposal emerged during active public sector wage negotiations. That, it argues, constitutes a material change to the basis on which those negotiations have been conducted. It says it will therefore review and adjust its negotiating position to reflect the implications of the government's proposed action. The JCTU says it has a meeting scheduled with the government Friday, March 13, at which time it expects the full impact of the proposed change to be addressed. The Holness administration is pursuing a strategy of aggressive global recruitment as it looks to plug the gap caused by the discontinuation of the Cuban medical program in Jamaica. Health Minister Dr. Chris Tufton briefed the country on the various strategies being pursued at a press conference called on Monday. Chevron Campbell has that story.
The government says it's pursuing a number of strategies aimed at addressing the shortages in the health sector said to be caused by the loss of professionals employed under the Cuban medical program. The Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says recruits are being targeted from Nigeria and Ghana.
The ministry is also in an advanced position in our negotiations to conclude MOU agreements with Ghana and Nigeria. Ghana is one of those countries that has an excess of nurses. It's a similar training protocol, and we have signed off on the MOU. The MOU is now with them, but we are encouraged by the feedback, and we believe that we could quickly turn that around over the medium term meaning within 3 to 6 months, to see those specialists where we have gaps filling that. And the same for Nigeria.
Approximately 260 Cuban health professionals currently work on the island. The Cuban government has issued directives for all of them to make themselves ready to return home. The government previously announced that direct contracts are being offered to those willing to stay. However, it's uncertain what will be the take-up among the Cuban staff. The government says it will be more aggressive in its global recruitment of medical professionals as a long-term solution.
We have gotten cabinet approval to move to another level of our strategy around international recruitment. And that decision is supported or bolstered by cabinet's agreement for us to establish an international recruitment unit within the corporate services division of the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And that unit will serve as a central coordinating hub to all international recruitments, including recruitment under bilateral cooperation and within the diaspora. The unit will focus primarily on where there are gaps, shortages. It's not an attempt at replacing persons who are in the system or who are being trained for the system, but where the critical gaps are.
Meanwhile, in the short term, the health minister says staff will be redeployed to cover for the absences of Cuban nurses and doctors.
In the short term, the ministry will be working with the regional health authorities to activate what we call a contingency measure to maintain critical services. So that's our short-term surge plan, which includes revision of duty rosters, increased use of overtime and extended work hours. This happens routinely when we have a surge in cases. So if you have a spike in the flu season or in the dengue season, you have more demand on the system, then we implement a surge plan. So it's not a new thing. And given the possibility of fallout from Cubans who are working, Cuban healthcare workers in particular areas, we will trigger that plan, which we have a lot of experience in doing. And the regions have been asked so to do.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Chevron. Meanwhile, Dr. Tufton says alternative arrangements are being put in place to allow for the continuation of the eye care program at St. Joseph's Hospital in St. Andrew. The program is run by Cuban healthcare professionals. Dr. Tufton says those who have surgery dates already scheduled will not be impacted.
The Jamaica Cuba Eye Care program will continue. That's the intention. Its operations will continue by the Cuban team up to the 20th of March. There's an agreement on that. And for the remainder of the program's operations, services will be limited to surgery and post-operative care. Now, what this means is that for surgical procedures for patients who are already scheduled and follow-up care for patients who have already undergone eye surgery and retina-related post-operative treatment and monitoring. So those who have those appointments, not to worry, that will take place. In addition to that, the post-surgery care will continue under the program using the same staff, Cuban healthcare workers, up until that time.
The Jamaica-Cuba Eye Care Program was created to boost optical care services. Thousands of Jamaicans rely on the program for various eye-related issues such as cataract and complications from diabetes. Dr. Tufton says the government is already exploring other options to limit the potential disruption to the program.
We are working, and I've started that, on alternative arrangements to ensure the continuity of the screening program through a combination of our internal capacity as well as through some outsourcing arrangements. And we have got the Cabinet's agreement on that. Agreement in the sense that it has a budgetary implication, meaning engaging the private sector. The intention is not to discontinue the program. The intention is to work with the existing team up to the point when they may discontinue or continue, depending on where the discussions lead, and beyond that, to find alternative ways to continue the work, because it's a very critical.
Dr. Chris Tufton, the Minister of Health and Wellness. Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett says all hotels across Jamaica, which were affected by Hurricane Melissa, are expected to be fully reopened by December 2026. He made the disclosure during last Friday's meeting of the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament, where members were reviewing the government's estimates of expenditure for the 2026-27 fiscal year.
The energy and the ambitions have grown, and the reality now is that we will have all our 33,000 rooms available and active by December of 2026, so that fiscal 26-27 will recover the process. The result of that is a review also of the outturn in terms of visitor arrivals.
Hurricane Melissa battered Western Jamaica last October, forcing the temporary closure of several tourism properties and disrupting operations across the industry. But the ministry says the recovery has been progressing steadily. In February, he noted that more than 500,000 visitors had already arrived in Jamaica since the passage of the hurricane. Bartlett told the committee that improvements in the industry have led to improved economic projections.
In fiscal year 26-27, the gross tourism earnings is projected now at $3.228 billion and would reflect now only a 3% decline from the year 25-26, which was $3.327 billion. For fiscal 26-27, then the total visitor arrival is expected to fall to 1%. And so that figure now will be 3.741 million, and that will be composed of 2.278 stopover arrivals and 1.463 cruise.
Ed Bartlett, Tourism Minister. Jamaica is set to receive a major boost in airlift from Europe this summer, with more than 160,000 airline seats anticipated from the United Kingdom and continental Europe combined. In a statement on Monday, the Jamaica Tourist Board, JTB, says this reflects growing confidence among international carriers in the island's tourism product. Colecia Wright tells us more.
According to the JTB, 137,000 seats will be available from the United Kingdom for the summer 2026 travel period. That's 11,000 more than in the summer of 2025. Flights will be operated by three major carriers: British Airways, TUI Airways, and Virgin Atlantic. British Airways will operate 4 weekly flights from London Gatwick Airport to Kingston, and 4 weekly flights from London Heathrow Airport to Montego Bay. TUI Airways will operate 3 weekly flights from London Gatwick to Montego Bay, in addition to 2 weekly services, each from Manchester and Birmingham. Among the UK carriers, TUI will provide the largest share of seats with 63,000. British Airways will account for 41,000 seats, while Virgin Atlantic will offer 32,000. From continental Europe, 5 airlines will operate 105 direct flights into Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, between May and October 2026, providing 34,000 seats. That represents a 46% increase compared with seats available during summer 2025. Flights will originate from 4 European gateways: Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Milan Malpensa Airport, and Lisbon. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the level of airlift signals Jamaica's strong standing as a long-haul tourism destination. He says the expansion reflects years of work to strengthen relationships with airline partners, improve airport infrastructure, and promote Jamaica internationally. Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Khaleesi. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ, says it has written to 3 mayors to conduct by-elections and fill several vacant councillor posts in their parish. In a release on Monday, the ECJ says it wrote to the mayors of Kingston, Morant Bay and Savannah Lamar. It says it's reminding them of their responsibility to fill the vacancies for councillors within the stipulated time period. The Commission signalled its readiness to conduct the by-elections to fill the vacancies once the mayors so indicate. It says under law, a by-election is to be held within approximately 3 months of the vacancy in an electoral division being recorded. The ECJ says it's awaiting the decision of the local authorities. A Canadian woman who's wanted for murder in Toronto was extradited from Jamaica last Friday. She's 43-year-old Debbie Sue Jones. Jones is wanted by the police in Toronto for second-degree murder. Reports are that on September 30, 2024, Jones, along with another assailant, shot and killed a 42-year-old man in Toronto. She then fled to Jamaica to evade prosecution. Jones was apprehended by the Jamaica Fugitive Apprehension Team of the Specialized Investigation Branch on Monday, January 19. She subsequently waived her rights to an extradition hearing. She was officially handed over to law enforcement officials from Canada at Norman Manley International Airport last Friday, March 6. The National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, is working to clear a backlog of over 200 truckloads of garbage across the island. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie provided the update at last Friday's sitting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee.
The total backlog of garbage collection right across the country is about 218 loads. Because of Melissa, they had to respond island-wide to debris management cleanup. Christmas season is always the season that more garbage is generated in the country more than anything. And we saw that last Christmas. It is the intention of the organization to work assiduously to reduce the backlog.
The minister's comment follows complaints from some opposition MPs about a pileup of garbage in some constituencies. The opposition MPs say the excuse about Hurricane Melissa is wearing thin as they demand immediate attention from the authorities. They also claim that the backlog is due to the actions of disgruntled garbage contractors who are upset at delayed payments to them. Minister McKenzie rejected the argument.
Despite the challenges of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the organization is at the top of its game as I speak in terms of its credibility and its performance. The National Solid Waste Management Authority have seen an increase in the allocation. So it is not that we are not providing the resources for public cleansing. And let me say this. There are no outstanding bills owed by the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
Desmond McKenzie, Local Government Minister. Water Minister Matthew Samuda says work on the Greater Mandeville water supply system is due to be completed between 2027 and 2028. Minister Samuda was responding to questions posed by Central Manchester MP Rhodamoy Crawford during last week's meeting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee.
So the Greater Mandeville water scheme is 70% complete. It has somewhere between 18 months to 30 months for total completion. There have been planning changes along the way, as you'd recall from when the project was first contemplated. The project is almost twice the size of what was contemplated. Then we have been partnering with the NHT to ensure that their new developments in that area are indeed included.
The $4.5 billion Greater Mandeville Water Supply Improvement Project promises to end years of water woes for thousands of residents of Manchester and sections of neighbouring St. Elizabeth. It includes the construction of 3 new wells to complement the old Pepper location in St. Elizabeth, the installation of new transmission mains, 7 new pumping units and a 200,000-gallon tank. The new system promises to produce 3 million gallons of water daily. Minister Samuda says significant progress has been made with the project, specifically in gutters in St. Elizabeth.
As a major milestone, just for those listening or watching later, you'd note that we'd have completed the major pumping station at Gutters, and the transmission main from Pepper to Gutters is nearing completion. And I know we've created quite a bit of traffic disruption as we've been laying other pipes through different sections of Mandeville. So the project progresses, but I suspect we will have one last budget head next year to discuss before that comes to practical completion.
Matthew Samuda, Water Minister. International news now. Iran launched new attacks at Israel and the Gulf Arab countries on Tuesday as it kept up pressure in the Middle East. Sirens warned of incoming missiles in the futuristic business hub of Dubai and in Bahrain. Authorities said an Iranian attack hit a residential building in the capital, killing a 29-year-old woman and wounding 8 others. Saudi Arabia said it destroyed 2 drones over its oil-rich eastern region, and Kuwait's National Guard said it shot down 6 drones. Sirens also sounded in Jerusalem, and the sounds of explosions could be heard in Tel Aviv as Israel's defense systems worked to intercept incoming fire. Writing on X, Iran's parliament speaker said the country is definitely not looking for a ceasefire. That's the news.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:19.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Outaris, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
You could win a return on your taxes. Pay your taxes with your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card at Tax Administration Jamaica or online for your chance to be one of 2 lucky winners of $500,000 cashback. Earn an entry for every $100,000 spent on taxes between February 27 and April 15. Plus, enjoy a 1-month payment holiday up to 55 days interest-free and unlimited reward points. Visit Sagicor.com to learn more. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Unlock winnings, unlock value, unlock postpaid with Digicel. Sign up for your postpaid plan now, win $1 million. When you sign up and unlock postpaid with Digicel, you can win up to $1 million and more. Just sign up or switch to postpaid, upgrade or activate an add-on in the My Digicel app. Pay your bill in full on time and you can win an iPhone 17 Pro Max every week. A bill write-off up to 10 grand, a grand prize of $1 million. Unlock winnings with Digicel. Better connected.
Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply. Promotion valid from February 6 to April 4.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Morning again, Ludlow.
Morning again, George, and our listeners by extension, and everyone there in the studios, or what they call it now, the wider listenership. The situation on our road is that the traffic, I did say it's a peak hour now, so what has happened is that most areas are busy with traffic now. Those of you on the Mandela coming on to the 6 miles area, you'll have seen increased vehicular flow all the way to 3 miles. 3 miles going up Hadley Park was really busy all the way up. And if you're on the water, making it onto Chisholm Avenue or making it on the East Road, you're definitely going to have traffic. East Road takes you all the way up towards O'Mara Road and Chisholm Avenue all the way up to Maxfield Avenue. Maxfield Avenue is quite busy as the vehicles are making their way up to the Apple-Tree Square area. And don't forget, Richmond Park Avenue and Montgomery Avenue carrying a lot of traffic in that space there. And going across to Linders Road, you'll also have increased vehicular flow. It's the same thing coming up Retirement Road, heading into Apple-Tree area, Apple-Tree Road area, and Crossroads quite active at this time. All right, so don't forget the eastern side where Harbour View, the build-up there is there, right to the roundabout. And all in all, it's quite a busy Wednesday morning. So Until tomorrow morning, 6:45 a.m., it's back to you, George, in the studios.
Thank you, Lord. Lord there with Street Smarts 2 up next, front page. Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're now tuned in to our discussion segment, The Front Page. So it's Budget Day 2026. Finance Minister Favour Williams is expected to open the budget debate this afternoon in the House of Representatives. This after Parliament's Standing Finance Committee completed its review of the estimates of expenditure during 2 marathon sittings last week. The government has tabled a $1.4 trillion budget, which will be partially funded by a $29.5 billion tax package. The bulk of those taxes are expected from the new levy on sugary drinks, from which the government expects to yield just over $10 billion. The tax package marks the first time in 10 years that the Holness administration has imposed new taxes on Jamaicans. Siobhan Campbell sets the scene with this piece.
Today, attention across the country turns to Gordon House as Jamaica's annual budget debate gets underway. One of the most significant events on the parliamentary calendar and a defining moment in shaping the nation's economic agenda for the year ahead. Opening the budget debate will be Minister of Finance and the Public Service Favour Williams, who is set to outline the government's fiscal priorities and policy direction in what will be closely watched across the country. Today's presentation marks Williams' second time opening the budget debate as Finance Minister, and it comes at a particularly critical moment for the country. The debate is unfolding against the backdrop of Hurricane Melissa, a hurricane that caused widespread damage across Jamaica, impacting housing, agriculture, infrastructure, and small businesses, and creating new fiscal pressures for the government. The disaster has reshaped the national conversation around this year's budget. Jamaicans will be listening carefully for how the government plans to finance the recovery effort while maintaining the fiscal discipline that has defined the country's economic management over the past decade. The framework for those plans is contained in the 2026-2027 estimates of expenditure, which outline total government spending of roughly $1.4 trillion for the upcoming financial year. Of that figure, approximately $1.34 trillion is allocated to recurrent expenditure, covering the day-to-day operations of government, such as wages and salaries for public sector workers, debt servicing, and the delivery of essential services. A further $99.7 billion has been set aside for capital expenditure, which includes investments in infrastructure, development projects, and reconstruction efforts that will be particularly important in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Several major ministries account for a large share of the budget, including education, health, and national security. areas that remain central to the government's development agenda. Beyond the spending allocations, one of the most closely watched aspects of this year's budget cycle has already broken new ground. For the first time in Jamaica's history, the government unveiled its revenue measures ahead of the budget debate, giving the public an early look at the policies intended to help finance the upcoming fiscal year. The announcement was also notable for another reason. It marks the first time in roughly a decade that the current administration has introduced new taxes, reflecting the extraordinary fiscal pressures created by Hurricane Melissa and the need to support recovery and rebuilding efforts. Among the new measures is the introduction of a digital services tax, which will apply to certain digital platforms and services provided by overseas companies operating in the Jamaican market. The policy is intended to ensure that large global technology firms contribute their fair share of taxes on economic activity generated within the country, a move that mirrors similar initiatives being adopted in a growing number of jurisdictions around the world. Another new measure is a special consumption tax on non-alcoholic sweetened beverages, which will apply to drinks with added sugar. The government has indicated that the tax is aimed not only at generating revenue, but also at supporting public health goals by encouraging reduced consumption of high-sugar beverages. Together, the measures signal a shift in fiscal policy after years in which the government largely avoided introducing new taxes, while focusing instead on improving tax administration and compliance. As Finance Minister Favour Williams rises in Gordon House today, Jamaicans will be listening for more than just the details of spending and taxation. There will be keen interest in how the government intends to accelerate the country's recovery from Hurricane Melissa, including support for farmers, repairs to damaged infrastructure, assistance for displaced families, and rebuilding efforts in communities hardest hit by the hurricane. For many citizens, the budget debate is ultimately about how fiscal policy translates into everyday realities: the cost of living, access to public services, social benefits, and the pace of national recovery. Today's presentation will set the tone for weeks of parliamentary debate, with government and opposition members weighing in on the country's economic path before the finance minister returns later in the month to close the debate. But today's presentation will set the tone. In the wake of a devastating hurricane and amid the first introduction of new taxes in a decade, Jamaicans will be looking to the finance minister for reassurance that the country can rebuild, recover, and continue the steady economic progress of recent years. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Thank you so much, Siobhan. And we take a break. And when we come back from the break, we'll get some perspectives on expectations for the finance minister's budget presentation, opening of the budget debates this afternoon in the House of Representatives.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good.
Jamaica, stop the killing and give up the guns. Just live good now.
The time brought to you by the Ministry of National Security and Peace is
7:30.
Enough power tool, big to small. Chakama figure dig the wall.
Our total tools.
Weed waka figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When you say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston, and Lot C6 Draxall, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
CFOs and senior decision makers across the Caribbean, this is your moment. The Caribbean CFO Summit goes live March 24 and 25, 2026. 2 days, 13 CPD accredited hours, one powerful virtual gathering of the region's leading finance minds. This is where strategy meets innovation, where restructuring meets execution, where finance leaders prepare for what the next decade demands. Registration closes March 24. Do not sit this one out. Secure your seat now at CaribbeanCFOSummit.com.
As a taxi man, every mickle make a muckle. A same way, so BCIC easy pay stay.
Having 11 months to pay my car and home insurance, little by little, puts me at ease.
Exactly. With my type of business, I don't have to fret about paying big money. Yet, I always covered.
Get as much as 11 months to pay your car and home insurance while enjoying 100% coverage with BCIC Easy Pay.
Over a month ago, we invited you to be a part of something special, something different. And you know what? Over 500 of you said, all right, we're in. That means over 500 of you decided to move from just being a listener to being a part of the family. The Nationwide Family Club isn't just an idea anymore. It's real, it's growing, and it feels good.
And because Family looks out for family, for the entire month of March, we're doing something extra. Every single week, one Family Club member will win a $25,000 supermarket voucher. That's 4 winners, 4 weeks, 4 real chances. Because when you stick with us, we believe you should feel it. Loyalty shouldn't just be appreciated, it should feel rewarded.
The Nationwide Family Club is where you, our listeners, come closer. Not just hearing the stories, but seeing how they're made. Not just listening to the voices, but connecting with the people behind them. In the Family Club, you get early access to documentaries, exclusive content on air, member-only conversations, birthday shout-outs, breaking news alerts, and depending on your tier, studio experiences and private live streams. That's not just regular radio. That's family access.
This isn't just a subscription. It's connection. It's community. It's saying, I support what you do, and I want to be closer to it. More content, more interactions, more behind the scenes, and no, more chances to win.
And if you've been watching from the sidelines, we've been saving a seat for you. Join today. Be a part of the first 1,000 family members. And this March, you could be one of 4 people walking away with a $25,000 supermarket voucher. Go to patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. The Nationwide Family Club. Closer than radio, stronger than ever, and growing with you, our family.
Welcome back. It's budget day. The finance minister is set to hold court in the parliament around about 2 p.m. this afternoon, and she will open the innings in the debate for the 26-27 fiscal year. $1.4 trillion is what she says we will spend. When you look at the revenue to be realized, we're going to be about $100 billion short in terms of revenues versus the income. Well, the expenditure versus the revenue are based on those 2 broad numbers. Donovan Wignan is a past president of the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Alliance, and he joins us this morning. Morning, Donovan.
Good morning, George. Morning, Donna.
Morning to you.
Listeners.
All right. As you prepare to sit down for this annual exercise today, I mean, every budget is the most important one ever tabled by a government in office, and each occasion is more momentous than the occasion prior. Given the pace of recovery, though, what the BOJ has said about the pace of recovery, what the tourism minister told the Standing Finance Committee last week about his projections for the reopening of hotels that were shuttered by the damage caused by Hurricane Melissa, given all of that, are you more optimistic about what you are preparing to hear now than you were 3 weeks ago?
Well, George and listeners, Tana, I don't know if I describe it as optimistic. There are a couple of things happening internationally that are going to significantly impact our local economy and the international economy. And that being the increase in the cost of fuel. We have seen the cost of crude oil move from $60, I think, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now it's at 104, I think, when I heard yesterday. So that's almost a 100% increase, 50% increase in the cost of crude. Now look at the impact on our Jamaican economy. Look at BOJ has been trying to contain inflation and has been doing a fairly good job of it. They have recently reduced the interest rate by 25 basis points. I mean, not significant in my world, but it was a signal that the BOJ is going in the right direction to reduce the cost of, to try to reduce the cost of financing by reducing their interest rate, and in turn, hopefully, the banks would follow in turn and reduce interest rate to the business sector and the economy. Now, the banks, on the other hand, are pretty much saying, and they've been saying this for a while, that if the government reduces the asset tax, then they'll follow suit, with the transmission of the interest rates from the BOJ to the public. But that has not been happening. So on that score, I'm expecting the minister to address two things: how it's going to respond to the increase in inflation, and two, I'm hoping that the minister will say something about the reduction in asset tax that the banks have been clamoring for a number of years. I'm expecting, based on the pace of recovery, and I give commendations to all who are involved. I've been to the supermarket and I'm seeing nothing short. Everything is present. So that is evidence in my mind that we are well on our way, or probably fully recovered as far as our food is concerned. Infrastructure, the government needs to spend some significant money on the road network. I think the telecoms are spending money in building back out the telecommunication network. GPS is up and running full tilt. NWC, I think, has done a phenomenal job. I'm hearing no complaints there. So what is left is for the government to rebuild the public road networks, and that brings us to the point of budgeting for that big capital spend. Now, we have a problem with procurement, and the government year in, year out, and the Prime Minister laments this over and over again, that we have a problem with procurement. Now, I don't know if it's not the will, they don't have the will to fix procurement, but it has been something that has been on the table languishing for a while. Somebody must be benefiting from, the broken procurement system that we have. It's been there, and it continues to perpetuate. So I'm expecting that the minister will be saying something about procurement, and what is it that the ministry, because I think that particular item sits in our ministry. Yeah. What is the ministry going to do about procurement?
But a couple of things though, Donovan, before you go even further. On the point of the asset tax, are you anticipating some change there? Because given that the minister didn't put it in the document circulated about the revenue measures, and given that she was hinting at it as recently as the stock exchange conference that they had, but everything indicates that it may not happen this fiscal year, given that revenues are tight and she wants to gather and scrape from every corner that she can. Do you have the feeling that she may come today and announce that there's an about turn on the asset tax, and this will be added to the list of things from which the government expects to calculate, to gather revenue one way or the other?
Well, George, I'm hoping that she does. Our revenue position would have been, for this budget, would have been seen from the last budget. There's not a lot of options as far as, getting additional revenue from a plant that is not producing more than it was last year. So I'm expecting something innovative. The asset tax, I think, will serve, if the banks get their way, to pave the way for the banks to reduce interest rates. And with the reduction of interest rates, we'll have cheaper money in the market, and businesses will be able to borrow cheaper and be able to expand. And from that expansion, you should see additional revenue. Our revenue, I think, will have to come from growth. I'm not seeing it coming from anywhere else. We cannot sell any more assets. We cannot take any more from the NHD. So our revenues, any additional revenue that we need to get, more robust collection from the tax office, of course, which have been doing a phenomenal job, but the revenue that we need and must get will have to come from growth. And how we're going to get growth is to provide the fuel, with the financing to businesses, small businesses especially, that will fuel growth and hence we'll get revenue from that.
So let me get you straight. So you're saying to the listeners and the viewers this morning, Donovan, that if it is that the asset tax is reduced or removed, if there's a change, I suspect reduced, then that will further open up the appetite for credit among private people in private business and ordinary citizens, whether you're buying a car, making an investment in business or otherwise. And you're saying that through this coordinated movement, the growth will be stimulated to get us to where we want to be. Am I getting you right?
Yes, you are. And I don't think the banks will have any more excuse. Their excuse over the number of years that I've seen it was that, if the government reduces that asset tax, we can reduce interest rates. And I see our growth tied to the reduction in interest rates. And BOJ has signaled through the word of the BOJ governor that we need to see a reduction in interest rates. And I think it has been mentioned in Parliament several times that, and even our previous minister, Nigel Clark, has stated that we need to have a reduction in the interest rates so that we can see cheaper financing going out to businesses so that they can expand. So yes, George, the short answer to your question is yes, that is also a route to growth. As far as the other things are concerned, NARA, I expect to hear some more on what the government has planned, the full rollout of NARA, and to see, how much. I mean, we are going to recover. We have been recovering. There's everything almost is on autopilot. The areas that have been impacted, they must come back to commerce.
Yeah.
People are going to run business however they can.
Yes.
So with the government providing assistance, whether through grant or the bank providing cheap loans to get those businesses up and running, but some of them are even starting it from under 10, they are doing business. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that. Yes, George, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to save NARA a little bit. You went there early. But here's the thing, though. I'm looking at the argument you're making about the cheap money in the market, and I'm looking at most people will not be able to buy a home, and that's the most significant investment most people will make in their lifetime. But most people won't be able to do that. So most people, the most expensive thing they'll be able to buy is a car. If you look at the car market, though, Donovan, there is cheap financing and a lot of financing available. I never knew I'd live to see the day when people are giving 100% financing on used vehicles and new vehicles. And because of the advent of electric vehicles and hybrids, the market has changed. And I'm spending time talking about cars because, again, it is the most important asset that most people will be able to buy. It's most in reach. It's in reach of most people, a car. So if you look at that, rather than a bank lending you money to buy a used car for 2.5 million, they're saying, why would you do that when there's a car available for 4.6 million that is brand new? I'll give you all of the financing to do that. So borrow that from me rather than ask me to lend you money to buy a used car for 2-point-something million. So I'm saying the car market usually works hand in hand with what the interest rate indicators are from the banks, because the banks usually provide the financing, although no, many car dealers have their own in-house financing. Stay with me here. So I'm saying there is cheap money available in the area of the market where most people will get their most expensive asset from. So with that as the case, why do you think that something else needs to happen for the banks to make another step to make credit even cheaper for the same people who are getting cheap money to buy motor vehicles?
So Charles, apples and oranges. Most houses that are being built now range from 25 million up to 60, 70 million, depending on where in the market you are. The monthly commitment for, say, a $20 million mortgage is probably $200,000 a month. Working at $10 million per $10,000 per million. Now, that's a big commitment. You have to sign 5% or 10% of that as a deposit. Most people don't have that. But you're getting into a car at very low monthly payments of $40,000, $50,000. If you look at the latest Jetour, not advertising anybody, but I think they advertise, $55,000.
Yeah, you can't escape because it's everywhere, yes.
Everywhere, right. So it's how you get in. And that speaks to my point that I'm making, that the easier it is to get into a loan, for a particular purpose, is the more willing people will be to get at it. So cars, no deposit, $40,000, $50,000 a month, $2.5 million, etc. It's easy to get. But to get a loan to buy machinery, say for example China, I'm going to be making plastic items, I'm going to be doing tissue or garbage bag or whatever the case may be. You need in excess of probably $70, $80, $90 million, which the banks are not willing to lend because one, you have to have capital and collateral. You have to have collateral for that. Most businesses don't. If you're not among the top 20 businesses in Jamaica, you have to be able to make that $3-4 million repayment every month, even before you get into production. So it's a different market, and it's how easy it is to get into the loan. For car loans, it's pretty easy. Everybody can get a car. But to borrow $90 million, $50 million, etc. with no collateral, that is the problem. You don't need collateral for a car.
Excellent point, because it needed to be made to show the relationship between the availability of credit to do certain things and then the availability of credit to do capital intensive endeavors, and that's the line you drew just now. So
absolutely.
Right, let's take the break.
Let's
take the break and come right back, and we add the one other thing, and then Tana is waiting to ask you some questions as well after the break.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
7:48.
Hawkeye expresses heartfelt sympathy to all Jamaicans impacted by Hurricane Melissa. As we recover together, we remain committed to securing what matters most. The temperature by Hawkeye is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Jamaica Post is committed to being your preferred logistics partner. Enjoy the convenience of 3 to 5 days for international shipments at competitive rates and next business day delivery for local packages. Take advantage of our fast, reliable and ever-evolving services: zip mail, click and ship, fast track, EMS, parcel service, registered mail, corporate mail service and private letterbox. Access customer service support and track packages online. Visit our post offices island-wide and premium service centers at select locations. For more information, go to jamaicapost.gov.jm. Conditions apply.
To the women who give to everyone else, this International Women's Day, gain the future you deserve with Sagicor. Get protection with Sagicor Life's Total Woman Critical Illness Insurance. 10% off and a gift from Advantage General Ultimate Woman Auto Insurance. Special mortgage and auto loan rates, plus 7,500 credit card bonus points with Sagicor Bank. Lower trading fees with Sagicor Investments. Call 888-SAGICOR to learn more. Conditions apply.
Gee, you know say Mikey no come? Hold on. No, sir. That sound like consumption. What that? Tuberculosis, aka TB.
Now all time something like that. After nobody not get that again.
So you think TB still about?
If you have a cough for more than 2 weeks with fever, night sweats, and weight loss, go to your doctor or health center and get tested now. Let's be vigilant and stop the spread of TB infections. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, having a conversation with the past president of the MSME Alliance, Donovan Wignall, giving us some perspectives on his expectations ahead of the finance minister taking to the floor of the House of Representatives this afternoon to open the budget debates. Donovan, before the break, you wanted to add another point.
Yes, Donna. Just so the big elephant in the room for the minister, I think, today is how she's going to address the public sector wage negotiation. The mood, I think, of the public sector, and this covers teachers, firemen, police, everybody. I've heard, 2%, 3% being bandied about as, as the floor. I think the minister said that she had set aside 500 million for that particular item on her budget. But I think it's going to be some tough negotiating and hard navigating to remedy this particular one that I think has been dogging the Minister of Finance during this administration. So it's going to be an interesting listen to see how she's going to navigate that one.
Mm-hmm. And what tone do you expect her to set on this one? Because in the previous pronouncements from the finance minister from the government, they've said that, at this time they're not thinking about capping the budget as a percentage of GDP. Negotiations are still very much taking place. So what sort of tone do you expect the finance minister to set on this matter this afternoon?
Well, I don't expect the minister to go in and go hard. I think she has to sit and listen. I think the removal of some of the incentives from public sector workers has not gone down very well. With the relaxation of the fiscal rules, I think she might have a little bit more wiggle room. But I think what the minister should do, my very humble recommendation, sit, listen, and reason with them and see what kind of benefit. Probably you can look at how everybody has a challenge with housing now. The whole car thing and concession for car is something that I think she should put back on the table. There has to be some kind of concession regarding housing and the housing trust and how you provide for housing for the teachers and nurses, etc. I think that's a big one. So she has to find, different items that I think, of need, not direct salary, but different items that she can put in the mix to kind of, see if she can navigate how hard the different entities go on a direct percentage increase versus benefits.
On the matter of fuel, oil, Donovan, that you were speaking to earlier, in the near term as well as the long term, what are your expectations from the minister this afternoon when she speaks to that? Well, if she does address that in her presentation.
Well, as far as fuel is concerned, there's an indirect benefit, unfortunately, to the ministry, to finance. When fuel prices go up, you will have additional revenues coming from the SCT and fuel. I don't think there's much the minister can do where the increase of fuel is concerned. Not much wiggle room there. I think it's something that you would have to just let alone. As far as the cost of energy is concerned and the whole JPS issue and all of that, there is no space in the budget for any reduction of GCT or anything like that. And so that's something that we have to, I don't want to use negative terms like bite bullet and bitter medicine and foolishness. I'm just going to say that we have to prepare for some tough times where fuel prices are concerned. And the minister now has to probably dig deeper in providing concessions for green energy, solar technology, etc., to cushion the blow of the increase in fuel. So I know that there are no duties on solar equipment, etc. But see if she can find some other incentives to supplement or to, probably we can look, at energy resilience and how we are treating with it, preemptively look at setting up a solar, I don't know, something to really remove or reduce our dependence on fossil fuel. But as it stands now, there's not much wiggle room where fuel is concerned, and the minister's reaction to it.
We always hear about the hatred that business people have for uncertainty, yeah? And they want to know, and they want to know early so they are able to plan. How has your colleagues are in business, you yourself are in business, how has the publication upfront of the revenue measures gone down in the business community? Are people happy that at least they know weeks ahead of their imposition that this thing will come? And in the case of tourism, they get 1 year to prepare. Has that gone down as well as we would imagine based on what businesses have complained about, where uncertainty about taxation and so forth is concerned?
So as far as tourism is concerned, let me address that one directly. I think it was a very good move. Projecting 1 year that come next year, GC is going to go up 5%, which is a good thing. And I think that's a good example to follow for other sectors, where if you're going to increase a particular tax in a particular area, then give us some time to plan for it. Give us some time so we can, you know, as they would say in my field, MacGyver our things so that we can get to the point where we are ready as far as our industries or organizations are concerned to make the necessary preparations for that particular increase. Having the information beforehand is certainly good. It really does help to prepare us as business people to see how we're going to navigate the space in the future. So it is actually a very good thing, and it's something that should be continued.
Hear you on that. Well, we wait to see what is put on the table. We have so much more information now than we perhaps have had. Well, not perhaps. We definitely have had before a budget debate.
Yes.
So we wait for the details and the digital services. I wouldn't even ask you about that because nobody knows. The finance minister said she's still taking cues from the OECD. So I guess we just have to wait and see what comes up. All right. Thank you this morning.
Absolutely. You're most welcome.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. The budget debate should get on around 2 and Parliament has been starting very close to 2 o'clock these days. There's a time when you could join 2:30, 2:40 and prayers not read it. Them days are gone. Yeah, the rules are being enforced where
which I love.
Time is absolutely If Parliament will start at 2 o'clock, Parliament will start at 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Yes.
So that will happen. We'll have it live here, and then we're gonna have a team in-house at 5:30 to do the heavy lifting where the analysis is concerned. Let me tell you who we're going to have later. Worked out some arrangements for them to be accommodated later. So later we're going to have Dr. Christine Clark from the UWI. We're going to have the lady who leads the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, Catherine Silver. Good morning, Catherine. We know you listen. We're going to have Everald Duar from Jamaica National, a tax expert. And we're going to have young analyst Newton Harris as well. So we're having a generation mix. Although there's no old person in the group, these are people in the prime of their lives. But there is a young man there, Newton Harris, and he'll be giving perspectives. And of course, we'll be having other guests and experts as we go through the process. So Julian Robinson will follow Favour Williams. Then the Prime Minister, we'll hear from the opposition leader and the Prime Minister, and then of course Mrs. Williams will return to wrap things up in short order. So that's the budget debate. It will be live here on Nationwide 90 FM, and we'll have analysis of the presentations for you, substantive analysis going through what was said, so that the things you don't understand, you can get a handle on the issues. That's the front page. Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
Taking you across Jamaica this Tuesday morning, March 10, 2026 in St. James. Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Verdon, says that the municipal corporation is ramping up removal of illegal signs from across the town.
We have issued warnings before and not about to reproduce that warning. To what end, I don't know, because they know that once you're advertising, you need to pay. Once you're using a space, you need to pay, especially when you're operating within the city space. And there are rules and there are regulations, and they're very much aware of it. So we are just going to take the necessary actions. We have started. We are going to intensify that. You will see some results. We did some of the enforcement activities a few years ago where we were covering signs, issuing notices, and those stuff. And we got compliance when we did that. But as soon as we relaxed that level of enforcement, then you had persons falling back into the delinquent category.
Vernon says that the corporation could take a name them and shame them approach.
If necessary, we will be publishing the names of the companies that are outstanding and asking them to come in and pay their fees. Where persons are in breach, where they have installed signs without the requisite permission, building and otherwise, we'll be taking down those signs. We also issued a warning some time ago, immediately after the hurricane, that persons who have dilapidated signs, the ones that were damaged by the hurricane and are leaning in a particular way that seems to be dangerous, we're going to bill that to the owner, and if they intend to apply for a new sign, they have to cover that cost before we issue any other sign to them. And
Richard Vernon, Mayor of Montego Bay, he says signs with outstanding payments for an extended period of time will be covered.
We need this revenue for the build-out of our city to continue our operational services, commercial services, and giving social services and other types of services to the community and the city space as a whole. The demand on us is so high for delivery, and we cannot function without finances. We cannot function without strong streams of revenue and functioning at optimal level. So persons must understand the full circle reality of government, how it operates, from fees, from taxes, and these are the drivers for our operation so that we can deliver effective services within the communities.
In Manchester, work on the Greater Mandeville water supply system is due to be completed between 2027 and 2028. Minister of Water Matthew Samuda says or gave the update during last week's meeting of Parliament's Standing Finance Committee.
So the Greater Mandeville water scheme is 70% complete. It has somewhere between 18 months to 30 months for total completion. There have been planning changes along the way, as you'd recall from when the project was first contemplated. The project is almost twice the size of what was contemplated. Then we have been partnering with the NHT to ensure that their new developments in that area are indeed included.
Matthew Samuda, Minister of Water, he was responding to questions by Central Manchester MP Rodamoy Crawford. The $4.5 billion project promises to end years of water woes for thousands of residents of Manchester and sections of neighbouring St. Elizabeth. It includes the construction of 3 new wells to complement the old Pepper location in St. Elizabeth, the installation of new transmission mains, 7 new pumping units, and a 200,000-gallon tank. The new system promises to produce 3 million gallons of water per day. That's it for Across Jamaica. After morning, you've made Nationwide 90 FM part of your routine. So let's take this connection one step closer. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club and be part of it officially on Patreon.
Family.
Attention all data protection enthusiasts. Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM every Tuesday at 8:20 a.m. and Thursday at 8:25 a.m. for a new program, Data Protection Matters. Starting June 4, 2024, join us as we delve into crucial topics that will keep you informed and compliant. Data Protection Matters is hosted by Chuck Cameron, founder of Design Privacy, your trusted partner in data protection. Don't miss out. That's every Tuesday morning at 8:20 and every Thursday at 8:25 a.m. Stay protected, stay informed with Nationwide 90 FM and Design Privacy.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You send it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, turning our attention now to SLB launching its debt reset and new payment portal. The Students' Loan Bureau, SLB, has officially launched a debt reset program as well as a new payment portal for its customers. Debt Reset is a special program that allows you to reduce the balance on your targeted loan and clear interest, insurance, and fees, giving customers a fresh start financially. Whether their loan is in arrears or already in good standing, that means current, this program offers benefits to eligible SLB customers. For more on how it works, we're being joined by the Director of Client Relations and Management Services at SLB, Cheryl Serju. Good morning to you, Cheryl.
Good morning, and how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Great.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. So talk to us about the Debt Reset program and how it works.
Okay, so we've launched the Debt Reset program December of last year, and the program is twofold. One, where customers who would have maintained their account with a current status as of October of 2025, they received a grant or a credit application of $100,000 to their account. And approximately $828 million was actually applied to those customers' accounts.
So that's automatic?
That's automatic. That's 100,000 credit. However, the customers would need to apply online in terms of, first of all, they would need to register on the portal. And once they've registered on the portal, then they move to the Debt Reset program to register for that as well. And then they would appear, the current customers, they would appear on that current list, and those customers whose accounts are in arrears, they would appear on that list. And so once they apply and submit, then we automatically apply the $100,000 credit for the current customers. Now, persons whose accounts are in arrears, there is a payment plan.
Just before you go on, Cheryl, so persons, they have to register, then make the application before SLB can apply the $100,000 credit.
Correct.
Okay, what's the portal? Where do they go?
They can go to the info. First of all, they need to register at info@slbja.com. So they would need to fill out that application to register to use the portal. Once they have done that, complete that process, then they move to register for the debt reset. And that address is debtreset@slbja.com. They can send their questions and queries. They go back on the portal and then register for the debt reset. So first of all, you register to use the portal, and then you go and register for the debt reset.
Okay. And that's for the current, but for those that are in arrears?
For both customers whose accounts are in arrears and current, they would have to register. So we want to get the most recent information for all of our customers. And so we encourage our customers to go online and register, update their information, and so that we can communicate with them effectively using their most recent information. So they would need to register first.
Okay. And how many persons have registered, have signed up so far and benefited from the debt reset?
All right. So far for the approximately 723 customers have actually applied for the arrears. And so far we have applied the 100,000 straight to customers' accounts of approximately 196.
Hold on. If you could repeat that part, Cheryl.
Okay. All right. So in total, the arrears, 723 customers have actually applied for the arrears, which means that they have set up plans for the arrears. And there are 8,400 customers where the 100,000 credits have been applied to their accounts.
Okay. So it's both current and customers in arrears can both apply to benefit from the debt reset. I'm seeing here, you guys made some posts recently, and some of the customers did go into the comment section to ask questions or lodge complaints. And one of them said, when will the system be fixed so that we can see your updated balances? The arrears is not correct.
Okay, so we have actually launched December in terms of our portal, where customers can register and view their loan statement online. However, since we have actually released, we've identified some challenges and some issues with the system, and so we are actually correcting those issues. One of the issues that was raised is that customers weren't able to make their payments to principal, and so we're actually working through that in terms of customers coming into our office or sending a written request for payments to be applied to principal. So there are some issues in terms of, say, for example, we've had a complaint where a customer wasn't seeing his or her account appearing on any of the lists. And so we've actually made that correction and adjustment, and we're still working through those issues that the customers have been experiencing with our developers.
Okay, so is it just the online portal issue where the payments are not being applied to their principal? It's just issue?
No. Let me go again. The customers who benefit from the 100,000 as credit, that payment has been applied to their account for those customers who are current. However, for issues relating to when customers make the payment online and they're not seeing it reflecting on their statement immediately, that is being worked through, and currently the developers are working to correct that issue. From the back end, from our side, the customer actually makes the payment, and so it is a matter of the issue of it not being reflecting on the customer's payment. But we have accounted for those payments for those customers who are having issues, and so we are correcting that issue as we speak.
There's also another issue. I see a lot of your customers online saying that they just can't reach anybody at SLB. They'll make several calls get disconnected. Nobody answers the phone. Nobody responds to their emails. What is happening in relation to the communication?
Okay, all right. So for the debt reset program, we've actually add some additional telephone lines, and we have actually added more staff to receive those telephone calls. Based on the number of accounts customers who qualify for we have approximately 24,000 customers, repayment customers on our portfolio, and we have approximately 9,000 customers in terms of whose accounts are current. In terms of the inflow, we've actually realized that we need to expand the contact center, and so we have actually employed 3 additional staff members to assist with answering those telephone calls that are coming into the organization, as well as responding to those emails. Yes, we've had a backlog in terms of once we launched, we had that inflow, and so we're actually clearing those up right now as we speak in terms of we've actually added some more team members as well as persons are actually working overtime to respond to the customers' queries in a timely manner. And so we are working through that issue. Right now, we have persons starting early this morning to actually go through their emails and respond to those customers. And so, yes, it's a bit of a challenge for us right now, but we're actually working through it in terms of responding to our customers. We are aiming for a turnaround time of at least 3 days in terms of responding to those emails, queries that the customers would have sent in to us. And so we're just asking the customers to bear with us a little bit longer while we actually respond to them, but we are actually improving.
And the contact number for those out there who are customers, what contact numbers should they reach out to if they have questions?
For the debt reset, customers, they're calling relating to issues regarding debt reset. So they may contact us at 592, that's 876 592 0355, or 876 845 0331, or 876 588 6484. And they can also shoot us an email at getreset, that's one word, at slbja.com, and our usual email address, info@slbja.com.
So for those out there who are wishing to benefit from the $100,000 taken off their loan, that credit, they have to register. They have to register for the debt reset program via the portal.
Right. And then the payment will be applied to their account, and then they will be able to see that application on their loan statement. So they apply and then check their loan statement. They will see that that credit.
Mm-hmm. And in general, Cheryl, for persons who want to keep updated with their payments monthly, seeing their statements in general, it's via the same portal?
Via the same portal, yes.
So it's portal.slbja.com.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So they have to sign up there.
They have to register. Yes. They have to register. Yes.
Right. Username and your password. And
there were some challenges with that because when the customers were applying for their loans, they may have used a different email address, and so they may have some challenges. But what they will need to do is to send us an email or call through or visit the office, and so that our IT department will be able to walk through with them and to complete that process smoothly.
Mm-hmm. So what if they're out of country or something? Why they just can't reach out via
They can reach out. Remember,
phone call.
I explained that they can reach out in terms of the telephone numbers that I would have given, and even also the usual telephone numbers, which is the 619-4752, or even the slbja.com email address, or the info@slbs. But whilst the debt reset email address is specifically reserved for the debt reset program, they also can send us an email through the info@slbja.com.
Okay. So it's the debt reset program. By the way, does it have a ending date, a cutoff point where persons no longer benefit, no longer benefit?
So tentatively, the deadline is April 30th, 2020 of this year, and so we just have a few more weeks for that to happen. And so we want to encourage our customers to ensure that they make the best use of this opportunity to get 100% of their fees waived 100% of their insurance arrears and 50% of their interest amounts in arrears.
So the numbers to call for those out there who you are an SLB customer, you're repaying your loan, 592-0355 or 845-0331 or 588-6484. Cheryl, any final words before we let you go?
So I would like to encourage customers, those who have not registered, to go ahead now, because we're in March, and so we are approaching April, and so the deadline is April 30th, and so it's a grand opportunity for our customers, especially those whose accounts are in arrears, to get that waiver off in terms of the late fees, the insurance, and also 50% of the interest in arrears. This is a very good offer to regularize your account. So once those waivers amounts have been applied to the account, then they can now set up the salary reduction order or a banker's order to service the account going forward. And so this is a good opportunity to start anew.
Cheryl Sergiu, Director of Client Relations Management Services at the Students' Loan Bureau. Thank you so much for your time, Cheryl.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to take a break here on NTM. We'll be back with more.
Alson Pest Control Services, the pest control experts you can trust. Contact us at 876-338-6056. The time, courtesy of Alson Pest Control Services, is
8:23.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
26 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville, 20 degrees Celsius.
Data Protection Matters is brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust.
Think a privacy failure only costs a fine? Think again. Because the bill does not stop when the regulator writes a number on paper. That is only where the real damage starts. This is Data Protection Matters, powered by Design Privacy, and I'm your host, Chuko Emeka Cameron. Let's begin with the headline everyone knows. Fines, GDPR fines, regulatory penalties, public embarrassment. Those make the news because they are dramatic. They are measurable. They are easy to quote. But for most businesses, the hidden cost of non-compliance is much bigger. Trust drops, customers leave, leaders get pulled into crisis mode. And that matters because reputational damage can hit harder than the fine itself. A business may recover from paying money. Recovering from broken confidence, that can take years. Think about it. A customer hears your company had a breach. Maybe no one stole their money. Maybe the situation was contained. But in their mind, one question takes over. Can I trust this company with my information? That question is expensive. Customer churn rises after serious data incident. Sales conversations get longer. Procurement teams ask tougher questions. Partnerships slow down. And inside the business, executives who should be building strategy are suddenly stuck in incident response meetings, legal reviews, staff updates, vendor calls, and emergency decisions. And there's another cost people rarely talk about enough. Internal hesitation. After a privacy incident, teams become cautious in all the wrong ways. Marketing slows. Product launches get delayed. Leadership becomes reactive instead of strategic. What started as a data protection issue starts affecting speed, confidence, and culture. So the real cost is not just the check you write. It is the momentum you lose. It is the confidence you drain. It is the time you never get back. Now, once people really understand that, the next question usually sounds like this. All right, so what do we actually do about it? And that is where many businesses get stuck. They know privacy matters. They know the risk is real. They know doing nothing is dangerous, but they do not know where to start, how to prioritize, or how to separate what is urgent from what is just looks urgent. That is why support matters. For many organizations, hiring a full-time data protection officer, a DPO, may not be realistic. Maybe the budget is not there. Maybe the business is growing, but not yet at that scale. Maybe leadership knows they need expertise, but they do not need a full-time senior privacy hire sitting in-house every day. That is where DPO as a service comes in. And let's keep this practical. A DPO is not just a title. It is a function. It is guidance, oversight, accountability, and support. How does outsourced DPO support work? Step 1, the initial compliance audit. That is where the fog starts lifting. What data do you collect? Why? Where is it stored? Who has access? What vendors are involved? What notices are in place? What rights processes exist? Where are the obvious gaps? Step 2, gap analysis and roadmap. This is where things stop feeling abstract. Instead of saying, we know we need to improve privacy, you begin saying, these are the top 5 gaps. These are the quick wins. These are the high-risk areas. This is what comes first. Step 3, ongoing monitoring and support. Because compliance is not a cleanup project you do once and forget. Laws change, systems change, staff change, vendors change, business models change. Audit, roadmap, support. Not panic, not patchwork, not guesswork. And here's where a lot of organizations hit an important realization. It is one thing to know privacy matters. It's another thing to know exactly where your highest risks are hiding. That is why in our upcoming webinar, we are going to spend time on one of the most important practical tools in data protection, the Data Protection Impact Assessment, or DPIA. Because when a business learns how to identify high-risk data processing early, everything changes. You stop reacting late, you stop relying on assumptions, you start seeing where harm could occur before it becomes an incident. And that matters whether you are reviewing a new system, a new vendor, a new customer journey, or an AI-enabled process. A good DPIA helps you ask better questions. What data is being used? Who could be affected? What could go wrong? How serious would the impact be? And what safeguards should be in place before the project moves forward? This is not just paperwork. That is decision making. That is governance. That is prevention. So even before we get to the end of today's conversation, keep that phrase in mind. Data Protection Impact Assessment. Because if your organization wants to become more confident about privacy risk, that is one of the smartest places to start. And in 2026, that matters more than ever, because 3 trends are defining where privacy is going. First, AI governance requirements. Second, cross-border data flows are tightening. Third, individual rights are expanding in importance. More AI, more scrutiny, more expectations. That is the direction of travel. And when those trends combine with poor visibility into your own data processing, that is when organizations get caught off guard. Not always because they intend to ignore privacy. Sometimes simply because they never built a repeatable way to spot high-risk processing before the risk matured. Let me bring this down from theory to something real. Picture a client on the edge of a near breach. Nothing catastrophic happened yet, but there was a close call, the kind that wakes everybody up, the kind that turns, we should probably review this someday, into we need to act now. That became the turning point. First came the wake-up call. They realized privacy was not just an IT issue and not just a legal issue. It was a business issue. Then came the partnership approach. Instead of rushing into random fixes, they got structure. Clear priorities, defined responsibilities, practical support. And the outcome? They moved from reactive to repeatable, from anxiety to confidence, from almost exposed to operating with stronger practice, better awareness, and a clear line of accountability. That is what good privacy work should feel like. Not fear, not confusion, clarity. And clarity starts with being able to answer one basic question with honesty. Do we actually understand where our risks are? So here's a takeaway. Non-compliance costs more than fines. Support does not have to mean full-time headcount. Do not wait for near miss. Do not wait for the complaint. Do not wait for the headline. And as I mentioned earlier, this is exactly why our next webinar is focused on a practical skill every organization needs: conducting effective data protection impact assessments, identify and manage data protection risks before they become incidents. If you want to better understand your organization's data protection risk and gain practical tools to manage them effectively, this webinar is for you. We look forward to welcoming you and helping you take the next step towards stronger, more confident data protection practices. Register now at designprivacy.io. I am your host, Chukwuemeka Cameron. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Data Protection Matters was brought to you by Design Privacy. We help you comply and build trust. From the world to Jamaica, CFL delivers. Global reach, Caribbean reliability. Call 876-320-2263 or visit shipcfl.com. The time by CFL Jamaica is
8:32.
At the Commission of Strata Corporations, we're here to ensure strata living works for everyone. We monitor and regulate strata corporations. We maintain a register of these corporations. We facilitate dispute resolution between proprietors and corporations. We enforce the bylaws that keep your community running smoothly. Together, we're building stronger, more cooperative communities, one strata corporation at a time. Visit reb.gov.jm for more information.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Over a month ago, we invited you to be a part of something special, something different. And you know what? Over 500 of you said, all right, we're in. That means over 500 of you decided to move from just being a listener to being a part of the family. The Nationwide Family Club isn't just an idea anymore. It's real, it's growing, and it feels good.
And because family looks out for family, for the entire month of March, we're doing something extra. Every single week, one family club member will win a $25,000 supermarket voucher. That's 4 winners, 4 weeks, 4 real chances. Because when you stick with us, we believe you should feel it. Loyalty shouldn't just be appreciated, it should feel rewarded.
The Nationwide Family Club is where you, our listeners, come closer. Not just hearing the stories, but seeing how they're made. Not just listening to the voices, but connecting with the people behind them. In the Family Club, you get early access to documentaries, exclusive content on air, member-only conversations, birthday shout-outs, breaking news alerts, and depending on your tier, studio experiences and private live streams. That's not just regular radio. That's family access.
This isn't just a subscription. It's connection. It's community. It's saying, I support what you do, and I want to be closer to it. More content, more interactions, more behind the scenes, and no, more chances to win.
And if you've been watching from the sidelines, we've been saving a seat for you. Join today. Be a part of the first 1,000 family members. And this March, you could be one of 4 people walking away with a $25,000 supermarket voucher. Go to patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. The Nationwide Family Club. Closer than radio, stronger than ever, and growing with you, our family.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Time for a Healthier You. And this morning, the Kingston Public Hospital will host a health fair and blood drive, actually on Thursday, March 12, starting at 9 a.m. at the Pharmacy Car Park in observance of World Kidney Day. The event aims to promote kidney health, raise awareness about chronic kidney disease, and to provide essential health services to the public. Joining me is nephrology resident at KPH and the Cosmos Queen of Jamaica, Dr. Kimone Young. Good morning, Dr. Young.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Excellent. All right. I guess the proper place to start is the significance of World Kidney Day. Talk to me about that.
The significance of World Kidney Day is that it is a day that nephrologists or practitioners in nephrology all across the world stop to allow the public to learn more, to increase the health literacy around kidney awareness. Why do we do that? Our two kidneys, they are small organs, pea-shaped in size, but they have so many functions. They help to filter waste from our blood. They regulate fluid in our body. They control our blood pressure, and they also support our overall health. So small organs but massive responsibilities. Without our kidneys, toxins would stay in our body. And if you are somebody that you pass urine, your kidneys work, and that is why we want to talk about it. Also, kidney disease is on the rise. For every 7 adults, you have at least one person that doesn't know that they have chronic kidney disease. So in World Kidney Day, World Kidney Week, we stop to let persons know how important our function for the kidneys are, as well as most of kidney disease, if not all, is preventable. You do not have to get kidney disease. How do we do that? We ensure that we have a healthy, balanced life, and we screen and detect it early so we can prevent your kidneys from failing.
Great. I guess most people would be familiar with kidney issues when they have a relative or someone they know who says they have to go to dialysis X number of times per week. What does the process of dialysis do to the kidney, and can the kidney ever return to optimal levels after a course of treatment?
Okay. Dialysis, for those who may not know, is a form of renal replacement therapy. The machines work in the same way the kidneys work in our body. So the machine helps to filter out the toxins, remove the excess waste, as well as to control the blood pressure. Can the kidneys recover after being on dialysis? It depends at what level we catch you at. There are some persons that they have acute kidney injury, so we start dialysis in the short term to be able to almost jumpstart the kidneys to work again. If that jumpstart works well, then you can be weaned off dialysis. If we catch you at the point where you have progressed and your chronic kidney disease to end-stage failure, most times you are on that for lifelong. But if you are able to get the form of renal replacement therapy in the modality of a transplant, there are some persons that once they get the transplant, they may not necessarily need to have dialysis for a period. But you'd have to be monitored by your nephrologist for that. So the process of dialysis is that you are attached to a machine. You will have an access. That might be what we call a fistula, which is a combination of 2 blood vessels in your hand, or you will have a catheter. It is a tube that is placed in one of the major central blood vessels. We attach the circuit to the access, whether the fistula or the catheter, and you're on the machine for about 3.5 to 4 hours, and then the blood is returned to you once your session is done. The nurses and the doctors will check you while you're on the machine. And ideally, you need dialysis 3 times for the week.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the process of dialysis, and that is, can you come off dialysis? It is case by case. It depends on when we catch you, and it depends on how well you perform as a patient on dialysis.
Yeah. How does a kidney not working at optimal levels affect just day-to-day life in terms of a person's ability to play, have fun, work to full and optimal levels? Give me an idea of that.
The kidneys that are not working well, the first thing most persons will experience is changes in their urine or big lower back pain. So, for example, you will have less urine being produced, or you will have blood coming in your urine, or you will have foamy, frothy urine. Also, what can happen is that you realize your blood pressure is just not controlled well anymore for some reason. You're taking your medication, but it's not going down, or your sugar is not being controlled well. And then when it's advanced, you'll get things like confusion. You can get twitching muscles. You can have loss of appetite. You can feel as if you're full quicker when you eat food. And you can also have swollen limbs if it is really bad. Because remember I explained that the kidneys help to filter out fluid.
Right.
If the kidneys are not working, you will retain the fluid. So you'll have swollen legs. You can also have shortness of breath, so you're blowing short. Or you feel easily tired and fatigued. Or sometimes you can also feel your heart racing a little bit. So that's how non-functioning kidneys would affect your day-to-day life. You have this sense of unwell, and then you just see progressive symptoms. But the quickest thing is uncontrolled blood pressure or sugar, vague tiredness, a lower back pain, and then any changes to your urine, specifically foamy, frothy urine.
Mm-hmm. All right. Time enough to talk to us now about the health fair and the blood drive, Dr. Young, that's happening Thursday, March 12, 9 a.m. at the Pharmacy Car Park.
All right. So Kingston Public Hospital celebrates their 250th anniversary this year, and as such, they have allowed us to have a big health fair where we're going to be screening, and we're going to also have a blood drive. The kidneys are vital in terms of controlling our blood count, and actually, patients who are on dialysis, if they need a transfusion, they need fresh blood. They cannot get blood that is more than 7 days old. So we really do need blood to be donated for these patients. The health fair, we're going to have blood pressure checks, we're going to have sugar checks, we're going to check your cholesterol, we're going to check your uric acid, which is another electrolyte that we check when it comes on to kidney disease. And we also can check and get to know your numbers for kidneys as well while you're there. We will have demonstrations. We will show you what the machine looks like. We will show you what a fistula is. We will show you a different form of dialysis, what we call peritoneal, that's in your belly. We will show you as well dietary modifications that you can do, and we will show you exercises that are safe for kidney patients to do, as well as exercises you can do to prevent kidney disease. And that is, as you said, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at KPH. The Pharmacy Car Park, which is a car park located between Victoria Jubilee and KPH's entrance. It's bound to be good. It's bound to have games and activities and a lot of educational material where you can learn how to prevent kidney disease. Or if you have a family member and you have questions, we are there as a team to help you.
Excellent. I hope you get a strong turnout and that all participants benefit at the end of the event. Thank you this morning for your time.
All right, thank you. You have a good day.
All right. Nephrology resident at KPH and Cosmos, Queen of Jamaica, Dr. Kimon Young. Thursday, March 12, 2026. Yeah, Thursday coming. Starting at 9 a.m. at the Pharmacy Car Park, Kingston Public Hospital, hosting a health fair and a blood drive in observance of World Kidney Day.
Decorate like a designer with BH Paints. The time brought to you by BH Paints is
8:46.
If anybody ever did, you look like love, the kind that heaven's surely made of, and so few realize, and I see it in your eyes. You feel like love in these empty arms of mine. You feel like love, the kind that everybody dreams of, but so few seldom find in their own place and time. Thank God you're mine. You taste like love to these ever hungry lips. You taste like love, the kind that angels must partake of, the kind that never dies. And I see it. Something in the way you hold me tonight shows me that your love is growing. When the taste is sweet, tequila so right, that's the time I'm giving you. And it's burning like the warm summer sun, lingering like a Spanish love song. What I feel inside, my sweet lovely one, love will lead me on and on. I'm gonna love you tonight, hold you so tight, yo te quiero. You know tonight is so right.
Speaking of what language,
Stay
King?
by your side, yo te amo.
Speaking tongues. Talk to me.
Come on and let
Yes.
yourself go. Let your
Yes, sir. What's that?
Cause love will keep us together until the end of all time. You'll always be mine, yo te quiero. Yo te quiero. Yo te amo. Sometimes when life
You have to pull that, King. There's a small pull. Just lift up an eagle. Just lift up an eagle. Just lift it up. Just lift it up a little. And then drop it back. Yeah, man. So it have to go. You have to play that tune. You can't play that tune one time. You mad? Once this man now play them tune and them tune them should have played a Sunday daytime. Eh?
Sometimes when life's poison arrows shoot me to the ground, dreams come falling down.
Oh my God!
Friends just can't be found. I don't worry.
Yeah, I'm generous email about the family club. Love it.
I know what to do. I don't go crazy. I just go for you.
You might now play them tune up on the program in the King.
Surround me with love.
Listen, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So you can't go and fight me a Sunday daytime, yeah? You understand? I beat up people in absentia. You understand?
Surround me with love.
I've never seen a more violent old man from a bar. Yes.
Just as long as you
Yes.
surround me with love.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I hear he has a fan from Porous. He said the woman cussed me one morning on Cliff Hughes and like dog rat, you know. She cussed me. Oh no, I was listening to Saeed and she cussed. I was driving to Obi and heard her.
She cussed
the woman
you
do me
in
up bad.
absentia.
Yeah, the woman do me up bad. Sir, her name is what? Faye from Porous in Manchester. Sorry, Juliet, Mama Juliet from Porous in Manchester. She just called in a while ago and said, "Oi, tell George and Desmond play half an hour with a Cynthia Schloss on Sunday. Say him never take step." Yeah. So morning, Juliet. Morning, Juliet. Now I come between you and Desmond. So when them drill down and ask her, guess where she come from? She live a Porous, but guess where she come from?
Where?
West Kingston. It's all right, Juliet. It's all right. I want to say good morning to the 3 family club members, 3 of our newest family club members. I want to say good morning to Fayadeen. Fayadeen, good morning to you. Good morning, and welcome, Fayadeen. Adrian McKenzie, welcome to the club, sir. Your presence is noted. Adrian McKenzie, welcome. And Novali from the US. Novali, welcome to the family club as well, Novali.
Welcome.
So good to have you. So Fayadeen, Adrian, and Novali, welcome to the family club. This week, we'll have quiz questions. Who's the current, well, let me not put it out there. I mean, you go there and you see the questions and you answer. And family club members are being reminded that this week they'll receive an email from the Nationwide Family Club team with a form to complete so we can activate your full membership benefits. Members can also reply directly to the email and include photos of themselves and their spouse for any birthday or anniversary shout out you would like to be mentioned on air. I'm also encouraging family club members to look out for the email and complete the form as soon as possible so we can begin activating those benefits for you. Birthday, anniversary shoutouts, personal milestones, death announcements or remembrance announcements for loved ones, scheduling their private studio tour and their live show experience where they, the family club member plus one guest, will be able to come into the inner sanctum. And for those of you who are requesting personalized birthday video messages from the team here, please complete the form so we can have the information on which to go by. Alright, so all of those things available if you respond to the email and follow the instructions. If you are a paid up family club member, all of these things are available to you.
I just can't seem to want somebody new. As if I didn't know that you were lying, and that your game of love would cause me woe. In spite of all the times you left me crying, I'll play your game as if I didn't know. They warn me that someday I'd learn a
Now for the
lesson.
birthdays, happy birthday to our friends on Facebook. Hugh Wood, Mark Brown, Roxanne Lou, Appleberry, happy birthday. Happy birthday as well to Latoya Locke, Shana Wilson, Nikisha Hodges, and Trishana Dennis. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well to Latoya Salmon, Chevelle Frey, Cleveland Robertson, Judith Folks, and Rochelle Morrison. Happy birthday. Wishing for you guys a lovely day. Jordan Seaton saying, help me celebrate my beloved brother, Cristiano Seaton. A happy blessed birthday to you. And many more to come from his brother Jordan and the rest of the family. They're saying to you, lots of love. So happy birthday. Also, birthday greeting here. This one says, special birthday shout out, good morning. We pause for a very special birthday greeting going out to a wonderful young man. Today we celebrate Zachary Manderson, who is celebrating his 11th birthday today. Zachary, this loving message comes from Mom Jodian, Dad Damien, and your brother Ace, who all want you to know just how much you mean to them. They want you to know that they love you deeply and are incredibly proud of the young man you are becoming. Your kindness, your bright spirit, and the joy you bring to your family makes you truly special. Every day you continue to grow in wisdom, character, and strength, and your family celebrates the blessing that you are in their lives. Zachary, as you celebrate this special day, your family wishes you happiness, good health, and God's continued guidance over your life. May this new year bring you many adventures, success in school, and countless reasons to smile. So once again, happy 11th birthday, Zachary. With all their love, their greetings are coming from your mom, your dad, and your brother Ace, wishing you a fantastic day filled with laughter, cake, and celebration. Happy birthday, Zachary.
Get them, Zach.
If I want thing SSP man, that's not gonna do, you know.
Am I all right?
Am I all right?
Am I all right?
So happy birthday to you, Zachary.
11 years of Zach.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And this one says, happy birthday greetings going out to Tanashay Johnson from the Cooper's family, especially your daughter, is this Yahanat Cooper? Hope I'm pronouncing that right. And there's a song request here from Teddy Prendergast, You Are My Greatest. So happy birthday to you, Tanashay Johnson. We're going to line up that one for you. You Are My Greatest by Teddy Prendergast. Hopping back over into the YouTube chat, I'm seeing here Killian Henry sending happy birthday greetings to Corporal Ison Rosedom over there in Clarendon. Happy birthday to you. And Killian is saying greetings coming from Batch 2000 Revolutionist. So happy birthday to you, Corporal Rosedom.
So darling, I can dream on it too. Each night while I'm sleeping, oh so lonely.
Some more birthdays here. Kiki sending happy birthday to the best auntie ever, Pauline. Love you to the moon and back. And Garfield and Grange Hill. Hope you both enjoy your special day. So happy birthday, Pauline, the best auntie ever, Kiki says. And Kiki's also sending happy birthday greetings to Garfield and Grange Hill, wishing both of you a wonderful day. Baron Jack Spinnock sending happy birthday greetings to Dr. Leonie Clark, formerly of UTech. You're such a beautiful soul. Please have a great day. So happy birthday to you, Dr. Leonie Clark from Baron Jack's Pinnock. And Carmita Sadler sending birthday greetings to Mom, Miss Lynette Grant, 94 years old today.
Well done.
Indeed.
Well done.
Indeed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Happy birthday to you, Miss Lynette Grant. Wishing for you a lovely day. We hear you're over there in Erie Castle in St. Thomas. So happy birthday to you from your daughter, Carmita Sadler. And Lisette sending a special birthday greeting to, this one says, my 1P in the pod, my daughter, Miss Brianna Vernon, all of 17 years old today. Love you forever, baby, from your mom, Lisette, and your grandma, Danda, and your granddad, Santa. So happy birthday to you.
But just a memory's all that's left of you.
So those are the birthdays. If you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well. And that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning, NTM. Thanks so much to our technical operator and the musical maestro, Jermaine King, our super producer, Michelle McCrae Smith, and our super editor, Kimone Thompson. No bother with that. No bother with that. I will not repeat what Jermaine said. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana.
And I'm George.
Good morning.
Don't you know that I still care for you?
You've just heard Nationwide